Welcome to the regularly called meeting of the Danville Architectural Heritage Board, March the 18th, 2026, 2 p.m. First order of business, if everyone has a copy and had a chance to take a peek, is the minutes from our last meeting, which I believe was, I've got a date on here.
December 3rd.
Thank you, yes, December 3rd, found it.
I so move for their approval.
Have a motion to approve.
I will second
Have
that.
a second? Any additional discussion? All in favor? Aye. Very good. Item number 3, 204 West Main Street, request to meet with owners. Joni, would you like to bring us up to speed on that?
Yes, I would. Henry is here today to kind of bring us up to speed, and we also have the ability to call the owner. She's made herself available by phone if we wish to do so. So as you know, some months ago, I brought it to the commission that we needed to have a meeting with the owners of 204 West Main due to the deterioration of the wooden windows. There are some issues with it going through foreclosure, some illness in the family. There has been since some communication with the owner, and I believe that she at this point is ready to make a opportunity with the bank to sell the property. And I'll let Henry kind of bring you up to speed because he is the one who's had the actual discussions with them.
Okay,
The foreclosure suit has not been withdrawn. It's still looming out there from what I've discussed with Ms. Joseph. That's the wife of the member of the LLC that owns it. So Mrs. Nikki Joseph, they have a window to possibly sell it. Apparently there might be some interest in its historic value. And I think they were interested in this commission or your director's input about what that historic value is to help them kind of paint a picture for possible purchasers. They have people in the building now, people related to the owners who are keeping guard because apparently there have been break-ins and lots of vandalism. They're without the means to do much to fix it. Mrs. Joseph said that she could board up windows if that's something we would be interested in, though Joni tells me that maybe that might do more harm than help. So Mrs. Joseph, I asked her to be available by phone today. If you all want to talk to her, we could give any guidance about boarding up or other preservation features. We could ask questions, and we could also let her know what kind of historic information we could provide to her that might be helpful to her. So I guess I would leave it to you if you would like to make that call, and I can hold it up to my microphone. I've done it before, it kind of works.
think we should?
It's up to you, Chair, if this is what the committee would like to do. We have the ability.
I mean, does it sound like they're moving toward either foreclosure or resolution with the bank, in your opinion, or?
I think it might be another month before anything might happen in terms of a judgment, and then there's still more time after that for the master commissioner to sell it.
I'd like to know two questions about the board. How long will it take for the bank to get all this cleared up between her and the bank so it can go on the market? And I'm opposed to boarding up any type of boards on the windows at all. I think that would just destroy the atmosphere of downtown.
If she finds a bona fide purchaser who can pay off the remaining mortgage, then I think it could happen quickly. If it goes through the courts, if there's no purchaser right now who's paying what the bank needs to be paid,
How much is that, do you know?
I think it's $52,000 is the judgment they're seeking, $52,000.
Get your checkbook out, John.
I might have a conflict of interest.
Thank you.
I would be hard pressed to find a reason to call Miss Joseph at this point, since there appears to be maybe at least a fairly decent chance of a pending resolution.
And we can reach out to her afterwards and just say, please don't board up for now. If there were any that's another way to do it. We can call her right now like this, or we can reach out to her afterwards.
Any questions from the rest of the board on or thoughts on this?
I'm gonna agree about the boarding up. Now, maybe there's something they could do inside that wouldn't be exposed to the outside. I'm just thinking about security and what's going on, so that might be an option to pursue. I mean, you know, plywood painted to look like draperies or something, because vandalism is a problem.
Well, I don't want to be a hardliner, but this is not our problem, it's her problem, or their problem.
Oh, I understand what you're saying. The second thing is, looking down the road, the property goes up for sale, an owner buys it. At that point in time, that building's gonna have to be brought up to code before occupancy. And so that's going to be internal things, and I'm certainly certain, but at some point in time, will we be coming in when exterior work needs to be done? And I don't know if you could talk to Mrs. Joseph about that, because I'm hoping a responsible realtor will be able to communicate that to a potential buyer and say, yeah, this thing's pretty cheap right now, but look what you got ahead of you. And
Using it was funds or money, using it.
I don't know. Is that, I'm sorry.
Better, yes.
Only those two.
Well, let me just say.
I'm
this-
not gonna repeat all I said.
That's okay. Let me just say to you this.
I wasn't finished.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. And now I forgot. Yeah. Just down the road in terms of code requirements and a new buyer, and yes, having a reputable realtor should be able to communicate to her that, you know, this could add time on the purchasing date to find an owner or buyer that's willing to, you know, look at that stuff. So if we say maybe we got a month or two before something's finalized, I'm not overly certain that could sell them that quick. So the question now is, what do we do between now and then? The outside windows, you know, how can we help to protect those in the interim if we need to? And I agree with Tom, it's not our problem. But those would be some suggestions, I think, to the owner, Mrs. Joseph. I'm done.
Well, first of all, I'm leery about doing anything to the exterior of those windows because they are fragile. I went and looked at the sashes. You have extreme deterioration on the lower sashes, and I'm not sure that any type of anything on the exterior would not hurt the seals around it or the framing. It's not in good shape. I do not know what the interior looks like. I suspect it's in pretty abysmal shape, so I couldn't speak to that. Whomever buys the property is going to be under the same restrictions and guidelines as they currently are now. I am very willing to make a report to Ms. Joseph, tell her the historic value, the history of the house. I cannot give her a value of the house, as that is not something I feel very comfortable doing. I can make her aware that that house is absolutely eligible for any tax credits, which would hopefully spur some good investor to come and look about those opportunities. But whatever's done to the exterior of the house will eventually end up in front of this commission, as well as any other within the district. If there's exterior changes or repairs to be made, it will come in front of this commission. My main concern at this particular point is making sure my batteries went out, making sure that the house is no longer being vandalized and that it is secure, and it's my understanding that that is the case. Now, boarding up those front windows, I would encourage you all to walk down the street and have a look at them. They are extremely fragile. I don't know, Lynn, what it would look like on the interior. But I'm happy to talk with Ms. Joseph, make a report for her, give her all the information I have, and then any real estate agent that she contracts with, just like any other real estate agent, I'm happy to talk with them about the guidelines and the procedures as well as any tax credits that potential clients might be interested in, because that house is a National Historic, individually listed as well as part of the district, so it's more than eligible for anything. And so I think we would be.
That
would be
seems
a-
of keen interest, the tax credits.
I think that would be a good selling point for that property. Now, how long it would take to sell or execute all that, I cannot say.
Well, is it on?
Yes.
Yes.
So again, going back to the windows. The house doesn't sell for a while. One of the windows falls down on the sidewalk. And so again, it's something to talk to the owner and the realtor about. And then coming under our jurisdiction, the new owner will have to, satisfy current code requirements, will have to satisfy our guidelines. And is it something too early to let Mrs. Joseph know that she could replace those windows with like-minded material and craftsmanship rather than having to spend money on attempting to restore that? Would that be part of our discussion to a new owner? When the new owner comes in and says, what am I supposed to do with the outside?
Right.
Restore.
More likely a new owner. I think Mrs. Joseph is not in a position to make those kinds of repairs at this time.
Say again?
I said that would be a conversation with the new owner, I believe, because Mrs. Joseph has made it clear to me that she's not in a position to make those types of fixes at this time.
Oh,
So-
I understand it. It's the conversation with her and a realtor to lay this stuff out
Right.
to the buyer. I know it's a new owner's responsibility. Just a thought.
And I would say, as it stands now, when the new owner comes forward, it is going to be my recommendation that those windows are restored and not replaced in any way, shape, or form. Those windows are possibly, I suspect that they've been restored before, but there is glass in those windows that shows significant age. And then there's always the ability to use storms over those windows as well. That's been approved numerous times, that they can put overlaid storms. That is a pretty common practice for historic buildings if you want to get protection. And again, we would work with the new owner to help them walk through this. We're doing a really good job with the old Derby shop. We're helping those folks a great deal. I've been in communication with Ms. Morgan just about every day. She's pursuing the tax credits. So I've helped her get contractors, do all of that, and that would be the same with any owner of the upcoming building. Now, I want to impress upon you all that that building is probably the most historic building on Main Street. It is older than Trinity Church. It has a significant history to the development of Danville. And so as we move through this process, whatever I bring in front of you is going to be extremely restrictive on what they can do to the exterior of that building. So just please keep in mind that of all the buildings on Main Street, this one's the real deal. So we need to be very judicious in how we approach it.
I've seen the windows, and I've looked at the windows. In my opinion, they're irreparable. You can't repair them. And there's a company out of Louisville that could come in and absolutely duplicate those to the T with old glass, the right type of putty, the whole 9 yards. That's what they do for a living. Again, I don't, those windows are beyond repair, in my opinion.
Well, and you say that, and I understand that, but it is not beyond their ability to build new seals, use the same glass, use the same mullion. So when we say restore those windows, I don't mean that wood that is absolutely completely deteriorated could.
The eaves, the seals, everything would have to come out.
Oh, they're gonna have to take them out completely, but I will say that, if you were down on the, what is Nancy Davis's building, what is that, the third Third Street Methodist.
Second
Presbyterian.
Yeah, Second Presbyterian. If you were to look at some of the windows on the back of that building, you would not have been able, you would not think that they could be restorable, but they absolutely use the same principles with that. So there's a lot of products out there that they could use. That's not saying, John, that they're not gonna have to replace a significant amount of wood. But yeah, we just need to be very cautious in how we handle this because it's extremely important to maintain that facade.
How many square feet's in that building, do you know?
I cannot tell you, sir. I can get you the PVA report on it if you'd like to see it.
All right, anything else on 204?
Chairman, do you wish for us to call or do you wish for us to follow up with our recommendations
would
and
follow
offers of
up.
help?
I would follow up with Mrs. Joseph.
And I know we don't want to cause her any undue duress. I know she's
Well,
in,
And with the concurrence of the board, but I think we've got enough momentum behind this now. They know we're serious, we're trying to do something. You know, it's been sitting there for forever. Now we finally got the ball rolling. Let's give it another month, see what they do.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'll second that motion. Right?
If,
Is that a motion?
evidently it was.
It was-
Motion till table until next meeting.
with the caveat that we reach out to her
Yes, yes.
and offer our assistance and I'm happy to do that, so.
Okay.
Does that work for you, sir?
That works for me. Do we have a vote on that motion just to close the
All in
loop?
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
My last word on this is that I have talked semi-extensively with Mrs. Joseph and with her son, and one thing they were adamant that I convey is their concern about any trespassing near the property, even well-wishers who might be looking at it. I think they're just very concerned about it. They're going through a difficult time, and if you are going to look at it, then toe the line of, giving them space from it, because I think they're antsy about the property, antsy about any government involvement, and they've had a lot of trespassers.
The building, if you are concerned about looking at the windows, if you stay on the public right of way, you can walk by the front of the building very easily and see what I'm talking about. So I don't feel like that would be trespassing as long as we stay on the public
You're on
easements.
the public
I
right
have
of way.
personally, and let the record reflect, I have not impeded upon that property line at all. Everything that I've done or looked at has been from the public access right of ways. Are we good?
We're good.
All right, thank
Okay,
you.
very good. Item number 4.
Wait a minute, are you wanna vote on it? Did we vote on it?
We voted on it, and passed
We're
it,
good.
unanimous in the sleep. Madam Staff, would you like to update us on La Casa Nostra signage?
Yes, unfortunately, one of my favorite restaurants in Danville has closed. La Cosa Nostra is no longer. And
They
I
kept you in work.
I love to eat there. I mean, it was my go-to place. I have provided for you, and I apologize that I had not gotten this out before, but it actually took me some time to find this information. I had to go back into the OneDrives and dig and dig and dig. But you have in front of you the COA that we approved on April 12th, 2022, and you can see that the work was approved with conditions, and that condition was that when the business closed, that would be removed and restored to its
yes.
proper. And also, and I apologize, I tried to copy off the entire city commission meeting, but you got the back page of it for some reason, which this was actually denied to begin with. Bo took it to the city commission overturned it, and you could see reflected on that second page that there was information in there saying that they too agreed that they would let the sign go forward, but when the business was closed, that sign would be removed. And the one thing I've talked or wanted to talk with Henry today is how do we get from this being on paper to actual action to get this completed? And I'm not exactly sure how to do that.
Mr. Mayor?
Don't we have an attorney here?
We do.
Attorney's report?
Yes, it is. That's why he's here. Well, my question is, how do we, I mean, is this something that we need to petition the city commission? How do we move the ball forward on this? Because I'm just not sure.
I think we have a condition that we have attached to this property, and it was overturned, but then the city adopted a condition that was much the same. And so if that were to be violated, I think maybe we would have a conversation with the city and its attorney about the possibility of what kind of demands we might make, what litigation routes might be necessary. I'm not sure whether or not there would be a willingness for that. The other idea that I thought of when Joni and I talked about this morning is that certain zoning actions can result in you recording a certificate of land use restriction in the clerk's office. And so anytime that there was a purchaser of the property or you did a title search, it would show up that this was a condition that, you know, after the restaurant is gone, the sign comes down. So that's something that we could look into and possibly record so that everyone has notice of it.
Ooh,
Well, I have an opinion, and I know more about opinion.
okay,
The process started with us to approve it. Should not the process start with us to disapprove it?
or to fix it, we have to fix it. We can't disapprove it.
We're gonna disapprove his, leaving it up on the building where it is today. That's my whole point. If the process started here, and then it went before the city commission, should not this board, this committee, make a decision to make them take it down, if that's so be, and then the next step would be the city commission, and if that doesn't work, then we bring it soon.
Well, I think the council has said pretty much what you're saying, is our attorney tells the city's attorney.
Well, I'm putting it in layman's terms.
Well, and also, if you look at your COA, after it was overturned, after the initial denial was overturned, we approved the COA as per the instructions of the city attorney with the conditions. So we have already made it very clear, with the approval of this COA, that they have to take it down. So I think the next step is for our legal counsel to follow up with the city's legal counsel and bring this to their attention. And then at that point, file this zoning permit or zoning, what did you call it, Henry? I'm sorry.
A certificate of land use restriction.
I don't want to make the motion, but to entertain a thought. So the first part of this would be basically our council consult or go to their council and say, we need to fix this. But also like, and I don't know if that needs to be a separate motion or part of the first one, is to file with the clerk's office, hey, before you purchase this property, there's a, forgive me, I can't remember the terminology.
Certificate of land use restriction.
There's
Thank
a
you.
restriction on this property, so
But
this,
I'm opposed to that, and the reason I'm opposed to that, no offense, is that that building might sit there for months before it's sold. So, you know, we're sitting here in limbo, and, it needs to come on.
I believe that would be for future use. We need to deal with the city attorneys now to get the building. I do not know. But our immediate need is to get that sign removed by the current business owner. And then I believe that would probably attach to any further businesses down the road, not necessarily this business.
I think we need to fast track it. I don't think we need to dilly-dally around and, you know, go to Steve and Dexter and say, you know, we'll put it on the agenda, let them discuss it. Then they put it on another couple of weeks. First thing you know, it's 2 or 3 months, and then it's gonna sit there for another month or two. So, Mr. Attorney, I think it's not a motion. I just, as one member of the board,
we need if we're gonna go that route,
well, then I'll make the motion.
okay?
Go that route.
We need to be very specific about this motion.
Yes. New territory we're exploring here.
In layman's term, what I just said.
No.
Authorize council to communicate with the city's council and seek enforcement of the condition that the city attached.
There you
Bingo, I like it.
That's your motion.
Is that your motion, John? I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Yes.
Win? Feel like an auctioneer? Win? Any further discussion on the subject?
No, not at this time.
Very good. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None opposed. Thank you, council, for helping us weed through those weeds.
Thank you for the marching orders.
Yeah, this is new territory.
It's very unusual territory.
So we need to be very specific in what we do and how we do it. Because this too will set precedent for the city. So we need to be
It
mindful
could
of
set
that.
precedent for a lot of places.
Yes, it can. So we need to be mindful of that.
Okay.
Thank you, Henry,
As
for
our
your work on
visitor's
that.
taking notes over there.
Yeah, the Heritage Council's here today.
Exactly. All right, staff, grant kickoff event.
Okay, so we, as you know, we've received a certified local government grant to redo the sign design guidelines and the public art guidelines for the certified local government district. You all have already had the initial meeting with the consultant that we had last month, I think, or back in January before the ice storm hit, I can't remember. So now this is going to be the public engagement event. It will be tomorrow night, starting at 6:30 in this building in the basement. If you can come for 10 minutes, come. This is not going to be a structured meeting where we sit and dictate to everybody what we think we should do. This is going to be a very visual thing with tables set up, with a lot of visual things from other cities, showing different examples of signs, different examples of public art, and get public feedback from the public.
When did you say?
It is tomorrow evening.
Okay, the
Yes,
thing
from si-
tomorrow, okay.
Yes, I've got a lot going on the next few days, so that is tomorrow
Same
evening.
here, it's on my schedule, but I hadn't.
It's tomorrow evening from 6:30, and it is not a hour and a half mandatory, you gotta be there for an hour and a half. This is going to be very casual. We want people to engage in an informal setting and really get an idea of what folks wanna see in their downtown. I have walked up and down this street, handed out numerous invitations to business owners. I have made trips to both the Art Council and Danville's art community as well to come and talk. I think we will have a big turnout. And there's also going to be a visual survey online that after tonight, or after tomorrow night, you can go and take a survey. And this is just to get general feedback from the public about what they think they would like to see in downtown. And it's our first step in redoing the guidelines. I think we've made it very clear that we do not wish to be overbearing or onerous to business owners, and some of these signs, an 8x10 sign on a door that says open is probably something we need to look at, not, if planning and zoning is not going to permit it, or doesn't have a permit process for it. I think these things are things that we need to really look at. So I would encourage you all to come and participate in this. And anybody that you know that comes to downtown, uses downtown, just enjoys downtown, or has an opinion about what their downtown looks like. And again, please be aware that there are some things that the National Park Service requires us to do as far as signage. And those are things that would affect the permanency of the architecture. But so much of this is a community add-on with our design guidelines, and that's kind of more of what we're looking at. In the past, the community has said that they didn't want plastic blow-up bubble signs, they didn't want flashing neon signs. Those are the kind of things that we're looking at because National Park Service, they're not terribly worried about a flashing neon sign in your window, whereas the community would be. So this is their opportunity and everyone's opportunity to put their 2 cents in. So we've publicized it very heavily, and we hope we can get everybody there. So please do come, especially, if you're interested in your downtown.
What time is that?
6:30.
6:30.
Yeah, and we will run it till about 8 o'clock. So anytime between 6:30 and 8 o'clock, please come. Now, the other thing that you were talking about at the Old Mud Meeting House tomorrow, that's sponsored by the Boyle Landmark Trust, and that is going to be just a kind of preservation 101. They're going to talk about easements, how easements works. I'm giving a small presentation on what all of these definitions mean, like national landmarks and national register districts, because there's so much confusion out there about that. So that's kind of my part of it. But if you're interested in Boyle or Mercer County Preservation, it would probably be a good thing to attend. And I think that starts at 1:30 at the Old Mud Meeting House, which you need GPS to get to. because it's out in the middle of nowhere, but very cool. If you've never been to Old Mud, it's so cool. It's a great building.
All right. Yes, sir.
Joni, curious about, I know you've done the walkarounds and stuff, but what other kind of did we do a public notice in the newspaper? or-
We did do a public notice in the newspaper. I've had it out on the city's website. I've put it out on Facebook. We have put it, plastered it everywhere.
And how about the business owners downtown? Was there a mailing to them?
I did not do a direct mailing to the business owners downtown because that would be very large, it would be a very large. So I left, I hand-delivered in everybody's mailbox
Okay.
a notification that I could get to. So I feel like it's been pretty well publicized.
Good.
It's on the city's website, it's on the chamber's website. We've kind of put all the bases together, I hope.
So I have to use my cell phone to find it?
Have you ever been to Old Mud? I mean, this one, you can come to City Commission, it's gonna be in the basement of this building. If you're gonna go to the thing tomorrow, Old Mud is out in the county, so get that GPS on. And because we are at a regular session meeting, there's a couple other things I wanted to bring up that has come to my attention and moved forward in the last couple days I didn't get a chance to put on the agenda.
Okay.
And since I have the attorney here, we're gonna discuss that as well. There are a couple of businesses downtown that have gotten broken windows. And they have been there for at least 6 months. And I would like to move forward with sending letters to get those owners in front of this commission as well. One of them is Center Point, where the kitchen for I guess the production kitchen for the dry stack market or the meat market. It's the back painted window. If you look at it now, it's got duct tape all the way across the window where it is completely fractured all the way across the
Yes,
window.
yes.
And the other building would be where Boogie Nights was, I guess that is closed, but both of those windows are now broken significantly in the front. And they've been that way for quite some time. And I believe we have the responsibility to contact those business owners as well and get some sort of plan of when those are gonna be
Do you
fixed.
need a motion to do that, or can you just proceed?
I believe that we would need a motion from this board that,
Yes.
yes, we,
Okay. Motion to proceed with the action you have recommended. I have a motion to proceed. Do I have,
I make the motion.
John? Don't have a second yet?
second.
I will get those letters executed. I will have those with Henry and we will
Have a
get those
motion,
out.
Have a second. Any further discussion?
Just one, question, with the broken windows facing the public's up, isn't that more of a code violation?
It is a code violation, I believe.
So, is there something we should be doing to coordinate with them and find out, what are you gonna do about these? Why does it fall on our responsibility?
I have contacted Hannah, the Director of Planning and Zoning, and copied Henry on that, and I believe we will probably have a further discussion with her to coordinate those efforts. I think they would probably be cited by Planning and Zoning as well for code enforcement, but I think at this particular point, since we are holding people accountable for their buildings, we probably should follow that action as well.
It might be a situation of, we're here today and can authorize sending these letters, why wait on another department to
Yeah.
take the same action?
We send our letter first.
Yeah, at this point, I believe we are holding other building owners to account for their buildings, and that needs to be applied evenly as we move forward. I have watched hesitantly to see if anything was going to be fixed, and it has not been for several months. So at this point, I would advise that we do that.
Very good. So I had a motion, I had a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed. Proceed, ma'am.
Thank you. And now our last guest. We have Nicole Roth here from the Kentucky Heritage Council, and she would like to talk with you all a few minutes about future plans.
Welcome to Danville.
Thank you. I have been here many, many times, and I'm always happy to get out of the office and, explore around. But yes, thank you, Joni. I'll be a bit brief on this, but my name is Nicole Roth. I am the Site Identification Program Administrator. So ultimately, what that means is that within the program I oversee, we have the National Register, survey, inventory. We have also a number of our commissions, Native American Heritage Commission, African American Heritage Commission, and the MLK Junior. But in particular, two of the programs that I directly manage is the Certified Local Government Program, which, needless to say, I'm very, very pleased with all the work that Danville is doing, and particularly about the approaches you are taking for the upgrade to your design review guidelines, and particularly the public outreach. I will admit, I mentioned this to you a little bit earlier, my background is, I'm an archaeologist by trade. But prior to working at the Heritage Council, I worked in academia for a number of years up at NKU as well as the University of Louisville, nonprofit, and then moved over to government work. So I have a bit of a soft spot when it comes to public outreach, education, and really that kind of community engagement, which ties into one of the reasons why I'm here is that apart from the Certified Local Government Program, I am also in charge of preservation planning for the Commonwealth of Kentucky. That means helping cities establish their own preservation programs, being one of the leaders in planning our biennial statewide historic preservation conference, which we had last year up in Newport. But also, and this is the key one, I'm in charge of developing and writing our next statewide historic preservation plan. So our current plan went into effect in 2023 and is set to expire at the end of 2027. And so part of the process of developing a preservation plan is getting public input from not only the general public, but professionals, stakeholders, fellow government agencies, and general public and overall. And so I started this whole process back in May of 2025 with a public online survey. I should have mentioned, I always come bearing gifts, so each of you all probably have a folder which has like some information in it. One of the top pages has a QR code, and that'll take you to our online survey that I would be very grateful if you were to fill that out as well as pass it around. There's also a feedback form in there that I'll discuss a little bit later. But we opened up our online survey May of 2025, and we plan on closing it at the end of this summer, possibly early fall. But I have also been hosting what I like to call roundtables, listening sessions with different communities. This first started off with me visiting as many of the universities and colleges in the Commonwealth as I could. Like just a couple of weeks ago, I was down here in Center hosting one of these student roundtables. I've had plans for WKU. I've been to Northern Kentucky University, University of Kentucky, U of L, Murray, all over. Pretty much anybody who responded and agreed to host me. And one of the reasons for this is that wanting to get students, particularly those who are majoring in fields such as anthropology, public history, architectural history, these are going to be our emerging professionals in the field, and I wanted to get their thoughts, their feedback on what the priorities for the state should be when we adopt our new statewide plan. And this plan is going to go from 2028 up until the end of 2037. So we went from a 5-year cycle to now we're implementing a 10-year cycle. And one of the reasons why this is important is that the goals, the objectives, and the initiatives that are outlined in our plan dictate where for the Heritage Council, the statewide Historic Preservation Office, that dictates where our priorities are going to be for the next 10 years, where we're going to put our resources and where our focus ultimately is going to be. And in particular, it dictates where our funding also goes. So our certified local government grant program that Danville has been awarded. When that application was submitted, I know Joni submitted it, but she had to outline a series of the statewide plan goals and initiatives that updating your design review guidelines would satisfy. And so I've gone through many of the universities and colleges and still have a few more left to go. And so I have now moved to going to the different certified local governments and main streets around Kentucky to get your all's feedback on what are some of the issues or strengths that Danville is experiencing right now? What can KHC, the Kentucky Heritage Council, do to help you? What are some issues or I don't want to say issues, but what do you foresee potentially happening over the next year, next 5 years, next 10 years that you think we should be aware about? And more importantly, what is important to you that you feel needs to be included in this statewide plan? And just to kind of, I know that's a very broad way of thinking, but to give you an example of how this how your all's words matter, and even though, yes, I'm from the state, I'm from the government, I understand all of the stereotypes that's associated with that. But just to give you an idea of the impact of the information we receive from these sessions, some of the first listening roundtables I did with students in college campuses, they strongly expressed a need for some type of career pathway, some type of hands-on experience within the field that they wanted to, and preservation, archaeology, you name it. And they shared with me about how it would be great to have some type of internship program, and not only just an internship program, but some sort of certificate or diploma they can hang on the wall just to say, hey, look, I have experience in this. And from those conversations, within a number of months, KHC, the Heritage Council, we developed and then implemented, we opened it on February 2nd, the Heritage Council's internship and certificate program, where we actually developed a formalized internship program that students all across the state, and you don't have to be living next to Frankfurt and commute to come into our office. We have remote capabilities or program tracks too, where students, undergrad students and graduate students can apply for a semester-long internship, whether it be a part-time or full-time, in a series of different tracks. And upon successful completion of this internship with a number of set deliverables, depending on the project they're working on, they receive a formal certificate from the Kentucky Heritage Council recognizing the experience that they have and that they have been properly trained to our standards. And for college students such as that, when they're about to graduate, particularly going into the job market, being able to apply to local governments, nonprofits, private consulting firms, and being able to put on their resume that they have already worked directly with us, and not only have they worked with us, but we recognize the value of their work, provides that extra resume booster to hopefully get them through the door. And that was all through these listening sessions. And we saw that was something that we could implement quickly. And since we have started it, the very first deadline, I have 10 interns that I'm going to be interviewing all of next week for our summer internship. We have students from the University of Virginia, Ball State, Murray, Eastern Kentucky, the University of Kentucky, and we're only foreseeing this growing more due to the inquiries we have received thus far. But we just saw this was something that we could quickly implement and effectively implement to better the lives of students or soon-to-be professionals. So that's why I say your all's words actually matter. I write them down. I bet when the statewide plan comes out, you will probably see some version of what you say here. So I guess I'm largely going to now open up to the floor. If you have any questions for me, I will let you know. I'm hoping this is just the beginning of the conversation because I'm planning on traveling to every single certified local government in Kentucky, and then this spring, and then come the fall, develop or with the CLG coordinator of the cities, Joni, you're gonna hear from me many a times, developing regional workshops so we can have in-person sessions where we can pull members of the community in to just have those face-to-face conversations, because I find face-to-face conversations a lot more fruitful than an email blast. So that's kind of my shtick and my introduction. So by all means, if you have questions, thoughts,
How do you
please.
pull the community into these sessions that you're talking about?
So what I have found, yes, I know it can sometimes be difficult, but having these not at regular working hour days tends to be a bit easier for folks to come. I know this may sound simple, but I have also found that if you offer free snacks and drinks, people will pop in. And maybe also like have a guest speaker to speak. I know you have the regular business that of course you need to do, but I know, and you're having that wonderful programming this Saturday where my colleague Zach Osborne's going to be coming down speaking about easements, and my colleague Katie Wilburn's going to be discussing the tax credit program. Invite Katie to one of these meetings that when you have COAs coming through, she can be there to address the tax credits and how to apply to help offset the set cost. That might be as well. Food and guest speakers, people like to be entertained for the most part, so.
And I've already spoken with Nicole about internship possibilities here as well. So many of our historic resource surveys are so outdated. They need help, and those are very important, especially to people who are looking to do tax credit work. So some of that would be very helpful. So now it's in your court, folks. Tell this lady what you think about preservation and now's your shot. Now's your chance to say one-on-one.
Oh, I will also be back, so don't think that, yeah. And yeah, thank you for highlighting that, Joni. I did forget to mention with this internship program, there's already potential local projects I'm trying to set up with some of the interns who have applied. Where they live happens to be also a CLG, and so connecting them with the CLG coordinator for, I hate to say this, but like also free labor.
Free work.
It's free
work's
work.
good.
So, but yes, by all means.
Go for it.
Nicole, you said a word that's very dear to my heart, internship. And I think the board members know me, education is one of my goals, it always has been. If I go to your website, can I get a breakdown about what this internship program is. You explained it, and I didn't see anything in the handouts, but if I do go to your website, do I type in internship, or do I see it up there? Something I could read, get a handle on, and,
Oh, absolutely. I can send the link to Joni and she can share it with you all. But if you go to the Heritage Council's webpage, on the left-hand side, there's a series of menu options. One of the top ones is education and outreach. If you press on that, it'll give you a collapsible list, and at the bottom of it, it says the internship and certificate program. And it's an online, that's where you can find more information on it. On top of that, it outlines some of the program tracks too. So we're talking archives, data entry, ArcGIS, preservation planning, working with local communities. Even there is an option for an independent project. If a student has something in mind, say if they're working on their master's and want to, we can work with them on that. But that's where you'll find the application material as well as the application portal, because we have now digitized all those types of bits. So,
thank you.
yeah, absolutely.
Sounds great, really does.
Yeah, well, we just launched it in February, and I am forever an optimist, so I am hoping nothing but wonderful things is going to come from it. So,
As you all look at this questionnaire, and I'm going to pester you for it in the future so that we can get it back. One of the things that Nicole and I have talked about is there's a lot of, I guess what I want you all to think about, we give a lot of information on how to do things. But I think one of the things that we really lack is the why we do it. And so there's a lot of technical information out there, but it seems to me that we are not communicating the why we should preserve well enough, or in language that is understandable, or not aloof and elite where people can understand the necessity for it. So this is one thing that I would challenge each of you as you fill out this program and develop your thoughts and do the survey, to think about that. What is a better way to describe to the public why we need to preserve our spaces? We can give them a lot of technical information. We can tell them how to fix a window. We can tell them where to get the money. But it often comes down to why should you? And I don't think that we do a great job of the why. And so that's one thing that I've talked to Nicole about a great deal, and one thing I'm personally trying to do some reflection on. So that's kind of my challenge to you all, is why? So that's my spiel to get your brains moving, motivated.
yes, don't feel like those feedback forms, you have to fill them out within the next 8 minutes and give them back to me. Please feel free to sit, reflect, gather your thoughts, and then. It's because I'll be pestering Joni for them, so.
So this is a hard copy of the questionnaire.
Yes.
The QR code is the more detailed thing?
Yes, the feedback form is largely, it provides more space for you to address your own personal concerns, where the QR code survey, because it's meant for large, for a lot of responses, it's very multiple choice. So think of it more like the feedback form is more qualitative information and data that I'm trying to connect that
So this paper one is the preferred?
ideally, for
Okay.
me, yeah.
And how do we get this to Joni or you?
I'm going to remind you next meeting, if
Mhm.
you have not done it, do it.
And so I fill it out and then hand it to you?
Mhm.
Give it back to me and I will give it to, unless you're gonna say Johnny's really bad. You don't want
No, I would not say that, but,
And then you might wanna send that directly to
Mhm.
Nicole.
but can I scan a PDF and then just
Oh,
type it in
absolutely.
and then
Absolutely.
mail it to you?
I've had-
I don't know how to do that, but I'm just asking, so.
I've had people send me those with like a picture on their phone, and I'm like, that works. As long as I can read it, that's fine.
Nicole, I wanted to tag on to what Joni was talking about in terms of the why and selling the importance of what we're doing here. And I think that the why is something that's to be communicated to people who own these properties, but also in partnership with local governments, and how maybe if you all have a playbook or success stories about how CLGs and boards like this have worked successfully together with local governments, I think that would be a valuable thing for people to have.
That's wonderful to hear, because I've been hearing that message quite a lot, of almost like a toolkit of information that either city officials or commission members or just concerned members of the public would be able to use to.
Joni, I'll pick up on that because we were doing this website design, and I was sending you some examples, and some of the best historic preservation architectural review board websites had personal testimony videos of their experience with working with the board and how they came in not knowing anything. And you can read 3 or 20 pages of regulations, but you get down to personal testimony, and it makes a, so, are we still working on the website? Okay,
Yes, sir, we sure are.
okay.
In the series of talks to community-minded organizations, Kiwanis and Rotary, and even other government officials, because based on a call I got recently, I'm pretty aware that the Royal County magistrates aren't on to the concept of preservation. You want to take down my house. So, that tells me they're not doing it.
Dana, could you turn your microphone on? Can you turn your microphone on? It was something about tearing down your house?
I got a call that suggested, asking whether we'd be willing to let our house go because they want to expand the parking lots and the courthouse. So even though it is surrounded by parking lots, it just seemed real wrong-headed to me. I'm not in on their thinking, so I shouldn't be critical, of course. But I'm wondering if they're even aware of the importance to this entire community's well-being to preserve important buildings. So just,
So connecting with local, really emphasize or push for more local partnerships between, just so we're not all siloed in our own little areas, with the Architectural Review Board or a historic commission, a historical society, but really creating that collaborative approach, which,
there's
yeah.
always surface, but it seems like people don't get the big picture.
And oftentimes, I think when you have these communities that have a county government and a
Oh,
city government, and oftentimes there seems to be a gulf between those two entities. And I feel like maybe once a year or so, we should have something to try to get everybody together in the county and the city, or some sort of something to kind of, maybe local preservation program that we can get everybody to, because there's just this, when you have the city-county government, you have a court of magistrates, and then you have a city commission. They often are not well in tune with each other, or I'm not sure they even really communicate well with each other. So yes, I think that's a grand idea.
I don't know how effective the Chamber of Commerce is these days, but, that is a connection with business.
That's true. Absolutely.
What's the status on the Bragg House in Perryville?
The Crawford House is
Yeah,
fully.
I'm sorry, the Crawford House.
It's fully restored.
What about the park next to it, down behind it?
That belongs to the Commonwealth of Kentucky through the Department of Parks.
Last year, they were supposed to gift that to the county. And according to the county judge, can you follow up on that?
I can ask and send it up the chain, but the Parks is a separate agency than us, so I would just have to.
Russ Meyer is gone now, so he's no longer there. I don't know who the new guy is or the new lady is, but Russ was way behind that, or fully behind that, to develop that little park down next to the branch.
Yeah, that is the Springs.
Yes,
That's
the
Crawford
Springs.
Springs back
Yes,
there.
yes.
And
And that's what they were fighting for.
I too will make an inquiry with that through the Battlefield Commission, which I've kind of set on through the Friends of Perryville, so I can ask about that. I think Parks has an interim director at this particular point, so I'm not sure how that's shaking out, but I can certainly ask John.
I do know that last year, the Tourism Board allocated some money to help to clean up that park.
Yes.
And I don't know where it died, but it died somewhere along the way.
I don't know. It needs it badly.
And one other thing, thank you, and one other thing, and I forgot to put this on the agenda also, so I know it's not our responsibility to do this, it's the city's responsibility, but I would like to see this board write a letter to the city commission through the city manager, asking them to be more aware of the signs that are put up on the telephone poles and the light poles in this city. There's two on Maple Avenue in front of the Horkey House. It's been there for almost 2 weeks. You know, how to treat your yard and how to spray your yard from commercial people. And then there's one at Lexington Avenue and Maple Avenue that's been there since last October. And I've not said anything just to see how long it would stay there. So can we, and I direct this two questions to the board, can we ask, it's for discussion, can we ask our director on behalf of this committee to enforce those regulations, and I know it's a regulation, to remove those signs? And you said why and how, or how and why. Well, the how process was, you got policemen that travel this city day in and day out 24/7, and they see all this stuff, and they used to report back to the city manager, and then the city manager would make a note and have it taken down right away. That's not being done now. So that's the how, and why is because it enhances our community if they're not stuck all over the telephone poles. It's not a motion, it's just for discussion.
For me to write any sort of letter to city commission, I would need the direction of this commission as a whole to do
Well,
so.
and I throw this out for discussion, not necessarily a motion, just to see where everybody is.
Sure.
Well, a similar motion, can we just say we're gonna write a letter to make these people alerted the fact that we see this, what's not being done, and, you know, where do we go from here? Just
Well, I would approach it as such.
as an inquiry, and the board's noticed we don't have necessary reinforcement jurisdiction, but.
We do not.
we would
However,
like you to.
However, most of what you are speaking of are in National Register historic districts.
Yes.
Most all of that, and I think we probably could compose a letter saying that we are concerned about the signage that is being placed in our National Register historic districts. That I think we very well could do. Now, mind you, we have no enforcement ability to make them do it, but we can certainly raise our concern about that.
And if I'm correct, this committee was created some years ago to do that very thing.
Well, partially, yes, partially it is. But I would feel very comfortable in addressing it as the National Register districts, because that is more in our wheelhouse of that. So if this commission so directs me to do that, I can certainly do that, but I would need a motion to do that.
John, make the motion.
I will.
Do I have a motion?
Yes. To go ahead and concoct, no, right.
I will write a letter to the city commission through the city manager, informing him that we are concerned about the temporary signage being placed in the National Register districts within the
Yeah,
city.
now don't make it real fluffy.
I will not make it very fluffy. It will be very matter of fact, so.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second, to have further discussion? All in favor of the motion and the second for the letter to the city commission via the city manager? Aye?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None opposed. It's been John and Lynn all meetings, so. No, wait a minute. Yeah, Mr. Tillman second, one there. Okay.
Okay, and I've got one other question.
No, you've had your question.
No, this is on a different subject.
Is it about flowers?
I know that the city has been talking to the Norfolk Southern Railroad in conjunction to the depot down here. That's on the National Register of Historic Buildings, I do believe. Yeah. And I know the city met with them a week or so ago. And they had representatives from Indianapolis come down and talk to the city and the county. I was there, that's the reason I know that. And it was talked about the city of the Norfolk Southern Company dedicating that building for a museum, cafe, gift shop. And they didn't say no. They said the city and the county needs to come up with a plan and present it to the people in Indianapolis. Well, before they could even do that, the Norfolk Southern people out of Indianapolis called the city manager. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, I don't think I am. And wanted to move forward quicker than we even thought. So there is some hope with people that are concerned about that they could inevitably gift that to or sell that to the city and the county to make it a tourist attraction in our community. And I guess my question to Joni, that building needs some repair. If you've looked on the outside, some of the cornerstones have been so is that in the historic district, that area? I didn't look.
It is individually listed as a National Register listing. It is not within our CLG boundary, but it is a National Register listing. Now, I have no knowledge of any of this, John. I've not heard of any of it at all, so I really can't speak to where it's at, or I simply don't know.
Well, since we have the power of the state here, could the state help us? Could the state help us to move forward? What are the grants that are available? Or I might be getting ahead of myself here, but
No, it's okay. We do have a list of different types of grant opportunities. Unfortunately, with the state, we really don't provide a lot of the funding that we're able to award doesn't really go to brick and mortar projects. That being stated, we do maintain a list of other outside, say, nonprofit funding opportunities that this project may fit within. I would also say, with it being individually listed on the National Register, that is a tax credit right there that can be used to help offset the cost of any type of repair, rehabilitation, renovations for the depot. So I would say those would be the two key financial incentive avenues from the state. And I can provide to Joni again, We recently just updated our website, so we now have a grant opportunity resource page that lists quite a number of those funding opportunities that you can peruse and see if this project like this may be applicable for.
Joni, would it be even appropriate to maybe write a letter to the mayor and the city manager showing our support of this?
If this commission deems that we would like to show support for that project, we can certainly write that letter and show support. If this, I don't know, I have no knowledge of this thing at all, John, so it's really hard for me to say anything about it because I don't know the first thing about it.
I guess my question would be to the board up here, if, as it moves forward, do you all think it would be appropriate to,
Well, I'm in full support of that. I think that's what our community and civic leaders should be actively pursuing. John, I think you told the story of trying to go down this rat hole, and you got bureaucrated.
that was 30 years ago.
Okay. Well, I hope things have changed.
Well, I do know that each mayor that came after me, each one of them pursued it, and they also got shot down.
Yeah.
And so.
How can we avoid that?
So, and they know that, by the way.
Perhaps it would be a good starting point as the Historic Preservation Officer for the county, which I am also, that I could make a simple inquiry with the mayor's office to find out.
What my thoughts would be, do that, report back to us. I'd really like a little bit more information.
Yeah, because I honestly do not
Pushing
know
it.
anything about it, and so I can simply
That's a good
inquire
It's a great idea, but let's get the facts.
where it's at, because I do not know. I would say to you that the Paul Brunn grant, which we are still in line for, and if we can ever get, which I feel very strongly we will get, if that becomes a community open space, that is another grant project, but we're getting really the cart before the horse, because I don't even know who owns it, if it's a possibility. I can simply make an inquiry to the mayor's office and find out where that project is at, if that
Well,
would
I
suffice.
suggest you talk to the city manager. You know, those who wait are usually left behind.
I
So-
will talk to the city manager as well as the mayor's office and
And
find
the
out.
county, the county judge was involved in that
And the
also.
county, okay, very well. I can make an inquiry to all three of those and just simply ask where the project's at, because I
And I'd
do
like
not
to,
know.
I'd like to, if it's okay with the board, I'd like to, you add to it that this board is fully supportive of it. Even though we don't know that much about it right now, other than what I just told you.
I'm gonna be honest, I'd love to support it, but I'm not gonna support anything I don't know what it is.
Yeah, well, let me do
Well, I
this.
just told you what it was.
Let me make an inquiry. I will have at our next meeting, I will have a report
Please.
for you all as to where it is, and then
Do
we
you
can
understand
revisit.
what I just said, Joe?
Yes, sir, I do.
Why doesn't your chairman?
I I'm just following orders, sir. That's a good excuse. But let me do that. Let me make the inquiry, find out if it's even a feasible project, and then we can move forward from there.
I
'Cause it-
I agree with Tom. I would support it, but I don't know what I'm supporting.
Well, there's a lot more than what I just said, but this is.
Well, why don't you
I'd
just
be for
write
it
this
before I'd
all
be
down
against
and
it.
send us an email? You know, just list it, everything, your
Well,
experiences.
it's hard to trace.
No,
It's easy to trace it.
just write it all down, simple paragraphs, plenty of flowers, just.
So I
Okay.
will make those inquiries, and on our next meeting, I will have a report to you where that
Very good.
certain project
Very good.
is.
When is the next meeting?
We will be having,
3
we're gonna.
months from now? I mean, we
No,
have to wait.
sir, no, you're gonna see a lot of me the next 6 months.
Yeah.
So much so, you're gonna be sick of me. The next meeting is on the 15th of April.
We should have the majors be coming with us for stuff by then.
Well, but as this grant is going to move rapidly forward, because we need to be done with it by the 1st of August. So you guys are gonna be getting updates from me, and I suspect we will be meeting every month, so. And I may, as we're speaking of it, I may end up moving the May meeting, which is supposed to be on the 20th. I may move that to the week before, but I will send you all out
Well, my whole point is, you know how government moves, they move slow.
I
That's
get
just-
it.
That's just, and sometimes we don't need to
You already had
wait.
two questions, John, I'm gonna have to y'all. You
He's
already
gonna-
had two questions.
I will make the inquiry and report back to you.
Well, Lynn said I could have his time. Lynn will give his time to me, so there you go.
In the meantime, I would encourage you all, please, to fill out your sheet. And if you do have any comments you want to make to Nicole about the future preservation in the county, now's the time.
And see y'all tomorrow in the basement.
In the yes, tomorrow evening in the
Any other new
basement.
business?
Are we gonna have drinks and pop and all that tomorrow?
No, we're cheap. We're not going to do any of that.
State's not gonna furnish that for us?
No.
No, I heard that Arby's
Technically
was
could-
sponsoring.
No, no.
Oh, yeah.
No, we just, no.
Oh, there you go.
Motion to adjourn. Motion, second.
Who was second?
Mr. Tillman? Yep. John, he just didn't, he.
Well, he said I did, so I guess I did.
All right.
Thank you all.
Motion to adjourn, approved.